Hello, this is Gang, Stefan and Jelle from Amsterdam.
And we are Louise, Kathy, Michaela and Natalie from Vienna.
For our international marketing project, we have made a market entry study for the Oedipus craft beer brewery for two cities, Vienna and Belgrade. In this video, we are going to discuss the following subjects. First, we are going to start with the entry study of Vienna, then the entry study of Belgrade.
Demographics and target group. Vienna, the capital of Austria, has a population of 1.8 million people. The population of Vienna consists of 52% of women and 48% of men. In Austria, alcohol consumption is allowed from the age of 16. As we can see in the graph, a big portion of beer drinkers is between the age of 16 and 39. This means that the main target audience is between 16 and 49 years.
Austria is ranked third place in the beer consumption per capita ranking, with an average of 106 liters per capita. Austrians prefer to drink light beers, which make up for 64% of the total beer market. But even though the popularity of craft beer is relatively low in Austria, the consumption of craft beer is increased by 80% in the past years. 70% of Austrians say that beer and the big consumption of it belongs to Austria's culture. So it is not surprising that Austrians prefer original Austrian beer brands. In addition, the consumption of craft beers has risen, and along with that also the number of Austrian brands who create varieties of craft beer increased. So even though there is a market for craft beer in Austria, the chance is very high that this market is already covered by Austrian craft beer brands. According to ratebeer.com, there are several craft beer hotspots in Vienna. Here are a few of them with the most important features. Metz Craft Beers in Diner House sells over 400 types of craft beer. The Brickmakers Pub and Kitchen have one of the largest craft beer collections. There are also a few well-known craft beer shops such as Beer Store Vienna and Beer Lovers. Another popular hotspot in Vienna is the craft beer festival Arrows. This is a market for handmade beer specialties from domestic brewing factories and international creative breweries. It offers unique opportunities to taste hundreds of craft beers and to achieve knowledge of the new craft beer movement.
Pros and cons of Vienna for Oedipus. Pros are that the design of the bottles and the different flavors of the craft beer from Oedipus will be attractive for the younger and the innovative population. The growing craft beer market, and that it's ranked third in the beer consumption per capita per country ranking. Cons are that Austrians prefer domestic produced beers and the high competitiveness in the Austrian beer market.
Overall advice: although there's a high competitiveness and a preference for domestic beers, we think it's the right time to enter the craft beer market in Vienna due to the significant growth of the craft beer market. The design of the bottles and the different flavors of the craft beer from Oedipus will be attractive for the target audience. If Oedipus decides to enter the market of Austria, it's important to make a name for themselves. They can do this by participating at the beer festivals in Vienna, which are held in May and June. The festival season is a very big opportunity for Oedipus to establish a huge brand awareness in Vienna, because a lot of people attend those festivals. If the craft beer festival are a success, it's important to try and enter a lot of popular craft beer bars and pubs in Vienna. We think it's the best to do this for around a year. After the people in Vienna become aware of the brand, they can start doing advertisements for the product.
Now we are going to talk about the entry study of Belgrade. First, we will address some demographics. Belgrade, the capital of Serbia, has a population of 1.3 million people. In Belgrade, alcohol consumption is allowed from the age of 18. According to our research, the biggest group of craft beer drinkers are in the age range of 18 to 35 years old. This group consists of 450,000 people in Belgrade. This means the target group is between 18 and 35 years old. The beer culture in Belgrade. Craft beer is getting more popular in Belgrade, and in the last 2 years, the number of small beer breweries in Belgrade has tripled. The reason for this is that craft beer is getting more and more popular in Belgrade. Website Lonely Planet awarded Belgrade with the title of Best New Craft Beer Location in Europe, and travel websites are already noticing that more and more tourists from the West come to Belgrade to drink craft beer. Although this looks like an opportunity, it's not. This brings a lot of competitiveness between the many breweries. Besides that, we can see from our research that people in Belgrade prefer domestic craft beers. With new home breweries opening every month, it would be very difficult for Oedipus to enter their market.
There are several craft beer hotspots in Belgrade. Here are a few of them with their most important features. Samo Pivo, which translates to just beer in English. They have more than 20 crafted craft beers. The Black Turtle, popular with 4 locations in Belgrade. Crafter, the name speaks for itself. This bar is all about craft beer. Prohibition, which is a popular bar under locals.
Now, we are going to give you some pros and cons about Belgrade for Oedipus. Some pros are that, firstly, we can see that there is an increasing popularity for craft beer in Belgrade. Secondly, Belgrade has been awarded for the title of Best New Craft Beer Location in Europe, and this attracts a lot of craft beer tourism. Some cons are that, firstly, there is a high competitivity in the craft beer market of Belgrade, especially with local beers. Secondly, locals prefer local craft beer, as well as local hotspots.
Now, we're going to give you our overall advice. We think Belgrade is not attractive for Oedipus because of the high competitiveness and the strong preference for domestic beers. But if Oedipus will still try to enter the Belgradian market, it is important to focus their marketing on their target groups and their positioning.
It is best if Oedipus tries to enter a lot of popular craft beer bars in Belgrade. This is very important because people in Belgrade have a strong preference for domestic beer. This means that they are not very open to new craft beers, especially foreign craft beers. By slowly entering the market of Belgrade, by using the craft beer bars, people in Belgrade will not feel pushed into a new product.
After the people are a bit used to Oedipus, as a result of the availability in the bars, Oedipus can start their advertising in Belgrade. The best time to do this is around May or June, the same time as for Vienna, as we have mentioned before, because this is the time that the summer begins, which will result in more people going to bars.